If you want to build the most amount of muscle and strength with just one workout per week, you'll need to do a full body workout using supersets and mostly compound exercises and training really freaking hard. Now progress will be slow, but it will be 52 times better per year than doing absolutely nothing. So I mentioned using compound exercises and supersets. This is because with compound exercises, as I'm sure a lot of you already know, you're using multiple joints and multiple muscle groups at the same time. Okay, so you have your primary mover that's doing most of the work, and then your secondary movers which aid with that movement. And with supersets, they just really save time, but the key thing here is to use opposing muscle groups. For example, you can start off with an incline barbell bench press. So your primary movers are your pecs, secondary, you've got your front delts and your triceps. So do your set your timer for 3 minutes, rest a minute, then you could go on to some seated rows. Primary movers are your lats, then secondary movers are your rhomboids, your rear delts, your biceps, okay, your traps or mid traps, lower traps. So when your beeper goes off, after 3 minutes, you go back to your bench press and do the same thing again. So one side's doing the work, the other side's resting, if that makes sense. As you go through your sets, you might need to rest a little bit longer if you want to stick to the same amount of reps. Otherwise, just do less reps. Some alternatives to a barbell incline bench press. To swap out your barbells for a dumbbells or a chest press, not chest flies and not a pec deck, things like that, because they're isolation exercises. They're just going to be working your pecs. Nothing wrong with isolation work, but we're trying to get the most out of a 1 hour per week workout here. Alternatives to a seated row, you've got your lat pull down, got bent over rows. If you can do them, pull-ups. So here's an example of what I'm waffling on about here. So you've worked your entire upper body in about 25 minutes, half the workout done. Next, your lower body. It's not really necessary to superset your compound exercises with your legs. And that's because when you're doing compound exercises for your legs, you're pretty much using all the muscle groups. Some will be more quad focused, some will be more hamstrings and glutes focused. Okay, and your calves will get a workout as well. If building your calves up is a goal of yours, then I'll talk about that at the end of this video. But before I go over the lower body compound exercises, if you'd prefer to do leg extensions and leg curls for whatever reason, you can superset these. Okay, they don't really affect each other. Okay, both of these are isolation exercises using opposing muscle groups. The only downside really to doing leg curls is that they don't really work your glutes. So you could swap them out for hip extensions. If you've got your own equipment at home, obviously it makes it a lot easier. If you're doing this in the gym, obviously you're hugging 2 pieces of equipment at the same time, you know, or someone's using the equipment that you want to use. But if you can do supersets, I'd recommend them. Get more done in less time. Back to the compound exercises then. If you've got no back pain, no knee pain, no hip pains, you should be able to do standard squats, conventional deadlifts. But I wouldn't do them on the same day, I'd alternate them. So in 1 week do your squats because they're more quad focused, and then the next week do your deadlifts, okay, which are more glutes and hamstring focused. You could do your squats and then do some leg curls or hip extensions, like I said, if you want to bring your glutes into it a bit more. And then the next week you could do your deadlifts, but then your next exercise do some leg extensions, which are quad focused. The idea is to have a balanced workout front and back of your legs. Okay, so some alternative exercises for squats, things like leg press, lunges, Bulgarian split squats, hack squats. Alternatives to a conventional deadlift, you've got your trap bar deadlift, which is better for your lower back. Same as a sumo deadlift, that's better for your lower back as well. You've got your single leg Romanian deadlifts, got some hip thrusts. Okay, hip thrusts are more glute focused. So here's an example of what this would look like in your workout. If you're choosing alternative exercises due to physical limitations, injuries, whatnot, then just experiment. Don't force it, don't work through the pain. Just see what works for you, see what feels best, and stick to those. Okay, so you have 2 main muscles in your calves. You've got your gastrocnemius and your soleus muscle. If you're going to pick one to work on, pick your gastrocnemius. So you'll do this having your knee extended. Your soleus only comes into it when your knees are bent. So like a seated calf raise. Gastrocnemius is also the larger of the 2 muscles. The soleus sits underneath the gastrocnemius. It gives a bit more width to lower down your leg. The gastrocnemius is the sort of heart-shaped muscle. The gastrocnemius helps with knee flexion, which is why when your knee's bent, okay, your knee's flexed. That's why the soleus muscle takes over. So you could do 3 or 4 sets of these, 15 to 20 reps. You only need a couple of minutes rest in between your set. They're not particularly taxing. But nice slow reps, nice and controlled reps. Now don't forget to warm up before you train. And don't forget to stretch after. Just do 30 to 60 seconds for each muscle group. Keep hydrated, eat enough protein, eat enough carbs, eat enough fats, eat your vegetables, some fruits, some dairy, some fish, some cakes, some biscuits. Hang on, no, that's me again. Some nuts, some seeds, some lettuce, some cucumber, some tomatoes, some radishes, some peppers, some onions. Start off with an incline barbell bench press, primary mover, your pec. Oh crap!